Friendly neighborhood pyro again. Um, I have a speech about gun safety. Personally, I like guns. I'm a great Second Amendment person. I think that it's everybody's right to have one, but there's a big but on that. You have to know what you're doing with it. You don't point it at other people. You don't point it at yourself. You don't point it at the neighbor's dog or cat or fucking ostrich. What you do, what I think is that people should pass a common sense test and then they should be trained on that firearm. If you don't even pass that common sense test, you don't get a gun. That's period, point blank. Um, I think that people with severe developmental disabilities should not have guns. Now, I think that if you have minor developmental disabilities, like you're learning impaired or you are like minor autistic, like you have a good brain up there, you should be fine if you pass the common sense test. The fact of the matter is that too many idiots and too many criminals have guns. And all the politicians want to do is go after good people. Not me, for not me completely, but I don't know. Old grandpa has a 12 gauge shotgun in his closet. That should be fine. If and gun safety is not something that you learn at a late age. You grow up around guns and you learn to respect them. And the fact of the matter is, if you don't respect a gun, you don't need one. You don't need anything. You don't need a plastic ninja star that you get from fucking Halloween shops. If you're fucking dumb, you shouldn't have them. I think that I think a way to deal with this is a common sense test and then train someone on that gun if they pass the common sense test. I keep saying common sense test because that's what you need to do. Fucking Billy Bob, who's a fucking flaming redneck, should not be able to go into a gun shop whenever he wants if he's an idiot and buy an AK-47 off the counter. A background check's not going to do shit for intelligence testing. Um, there should also be a psychological evaluation. So, like, I have a history of depression. If someone sees that I'm depressed, they shouldn't let me buy a gun. Um, I think that it all comes down to the mentality of the person who owns it. If they're an idiot, they shouldn't have it. If they have a good head on their shoulders and that they think that they can pass a written test and then you take them to the range, let them shoot off a few rounds, see if they can handle a gun. And another thing is, not everybody needs a Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum. 500s are great for people who can handle them, but you can go to any gun store and you can buy a gun over the counter without anybody telling you different, even if you're a fucking dumbass. By the way, that's Nick. You need to be able to know what you're doing with a gun. You shouldn't go in and buy a fucking AK-47 or something and you don't know how to use it. You start from the bottom and you work your way up. You don't go and buy a 500 Magnum and dude. But that's my best friend. He likes to fuck around. Um, he's a bit of a jackass too. Um, you need a good head on your shoulders, and someone who's unstable should not have one. Someone who may be depressed shouldn't have one. It's not a cut and dry scenario here. And I think a gun store owner should be able to ask whatever questions, and if he gets different answers that he doesn't like, he should be able to reject that sale. I don't know if that's in place or not, but it's just it's a very big it's a very big and complex problem with firearms. And I love firearms. I love to go shoot skeet every now and then with my dad. I like to go shoot a fucking BB gun in the backyard. That way it doesn't penetrate a fucking tree and hit somebody down the road. And nobody should be able to just buy a firearm with no training. You need training on that firearm. I think you should have training on every single firearm you buy. Take a 5.56. Okay, that's like a AR-15 if you don't know. An AR-15 is a good starting weapon. It has just enough kick, but not too much. If you know how to operate that weapon, you should buy it. And if you know what it does and you respect it, you should buy it. If you're an idiot, you should not buy it. Period, point blank. Unfortunately, too many people buy a gun and they don't know what they're getting. They don't know like the calibers of everything. I started off when I was little with a 22. Then for shotguns, I worked my way up to a 410. Then I went to a 20 gauge shotgun. Then I went to a 12. And there's nothing wrong if someone like me doesn't really want an AK-47. Doesn't really matter if I don't want a pistol. If you're intelligent and you know yourself, you will know what you need and what you don't need. For pistols, my max is a 40 cal. Okay? It's a nice little cartridge. It has some kick, but I can handle it. But I won't go above that because I don't need to. Hell, say take a petite little lady. Nothing. I have nothing against women having guns, but if she's 90 pounds, she probably doesn't need a 12 gauge. She probably doesn't need a 357 Magnum. She doesn't need a 44. She don't need a 500. Like 9mm 380. That's usually what we'll do. And I mean, let's be real here. A 9mm and 380 still don't feel good when you get shot with it. And that's another thing. Unless unless something if you're a big man and you like a 500 Magnum, that's fine. If you're a woman and you like a 500 Magnum and you can handle it, that's fine. But I mean, you gotta know your limits and you gotta be respectful to the firearm. You have to respect what you have because it is a deadly weapon and it can kill somebody pretty damn fast. To wrap this up, people, when you buy a gun, know what you're getting into. And if you're an idiot, don't buy a gun.